Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special Wednesday night episode. This is the Wrestling Wire presents Mid Atlantic Territory Wrestling live stream preview. With me, producer.
Your host with the most, your Tio, always looking divino and always looking fino, David El Calejo Estacado here live with Ron the Saint. And I'm hyped.
Yeah.
I am so hyped.
Dude.
I haven't been to one of these shows in a while. I've been following them, and Ron, every show is sold out. Every show is amazing. It is. I don't have words. It's just these guys, for just being around for a year and having the crowds that they do, having the awesome cards that they have, and the growth that they've had within just a few couple of months here in and around the area has been amazing. Highly recommended. And they're coming to the DMV area up in Northern Virginia here in Fairfax. I'm hyped. And yeah, MATW coming to you this weekend, this Saturday, and that's what we're going to be talking about.
Right? I had a little glitch there for a second. You know, I see these guys up and down on the East Coast, and I haven't really had much of a desire to go to Virginia.
Don't blame you.
Well, all right. So normally there's this area and there's this speeding ticket zone that always happens, and people are constantly getting pulled over. There's also a lot of dead deer or deer getting hit while I'm traveling on that road. So yeah. I think it's like South Hill or some mess. Anyway, I haven't had much of a reason to go to Virginia. This looks like it could be one.
I think this should be a reason you come to Virginia. Period. Just follow along. I'm ready to follow along myself. If I could start making it to more of these shows, I definitely will be there. Especially as it's going to be in my hometown. So why not? Actually, you know what? Put up the poster. Do we have the poster up? I think we've been sharing it like for the past couple days.
Yep.
And here we go.
Wrestling at the J.
Live Pro Wrestling. Yep. That's good old Fairfax, Virginia, off a Little Turnpike. Literally a couple blocks from where I grew up at. And look at that card. Stat card. Amazing talent on here. A couple of faces that we know. Amanda Kiss, Gemstone, Blade Brown, making their way up north to the DMV. Preston Quinn, Ace Montana, Dirty Money, and right in the middle, the champ himself, Mr. Doug Delicious.
Well, you know, you also can't forget Lexi Steele coming up. No. You know, she's been around a good bit, and she's been trained by, you know, I know she's trained some with Bob Keller, and I think she's done some other training with other folks as well. Don't quote me, but I think Team Fearless was also involved in her training at one point, which is WCW legend Lodi. So, I know Lexi's been around.
Pedigree, so Amanda Kiss has her work cut out for her. Coming up to the DMV, we'll see how she fares. Actually, we'll talk about that because that's one of the matches that it's going to be going on. But before we get into that, Ron, I think we have a special guest. I've been talking to him throughout the week about these amazing events. One of the, I guess I want to say one of the heads behind this awesome promotion. I think he's been on here with us before. I think twice, 3 times now. I think this would probably be his 3rd time on here with us. Bring him on from the green room, Mr. Todd.
What's up, guys? Thanks
for
having me.
No, good. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know about a special guest, but I'll accept guests. And I've been on one time before, is all.
Okay. So we've had
in October before our second show in Fairfax. Preston Quinn and I came on along with Ace Montana and Spencer Slade at the time.
Yeah, remember that.
Okay.
And Mr. Montana went on for a while.
He's never short on things to say. So yeah, he had a lot to say that night. And I reached out to him to see if he'd be willing to come back on tonight at the fear of going a little long again, but he is not available. So you know,
that's a shame. I don't know. That could be a shame or a blessing.
We'll roll with the punches, right? That's what we got to do.
Well, tell us a little bit, man. It's been a while since you've been on here, but we have been seeing the shows, the highlights. You guys have just exploded here, you must be feeling excited for this upcoming week.
I'm very nervous for this upcoming week because one of the things that MATW does in a lot of its markets and towns that they run is there will be someone local, a local promoter on the ground that will facilitate getting the building rented and, promotion and different things like that, which I have done for the 2 Fairfax shows, the last one and this one by myself 100%. And so when you put an amount of money out there to secure the talent and the show and all the production that comes along with an MATW show, it's not just a typical indie show with a ring set up somewhere. We have the whole setup from the entrance to the barricades to the lights to the sound to everything. I'm putting money out of pocket and gambling on Fairfax to be one of our towns that we can run regularly. It's been a bit of a tough nut to crack. We've done very, very well in some other markets. We've grown in every single market we've gone to, though. And so it's some faster than others. Given this is my hometown and it's where I'm, I travel farther than a lot of other guys for some of the other shows. And they've got on the flip side, come up here for this show. But, we're trying our best to make it something special here and something that we can do on a regular basis. And so, it's exciting to look forward to. There's always kind of a buzz and a vibe and a whatever. And granted, we made a couple of mistakes in the past. The first time we ran here, it was basically 4th of July weekend, which isn't probably the smartest time to venture into a new area with a new product, which was just a couple of months old at that time. It was pretty much unknown. Not that we're super well known just yet, because it's only been a year. We had to remind myself the other day as I was talking to one of the owners of the promotion that we have an idea and a dream and a hope of where we'll one day be. We're not there yet. And in seeing that and going, man, we're not there yet. Sometimes it's hard to recognize how far you've come and how much growth we've had in just a year. Last March was our first show. So it's been 1 year now. And I think we've run upwards of over 20 shows so far through Virginia and the Carolinas, with a lot of really, really exciting stuff coming up and some really big shows coming up. We've got a TV deal. We're just waiting to finalize some kinks in production and different things like that and get everything worked out so that once we're off, we're truly off and running and everything is smooth there and we can turn out that weekly product. So it's very, very exciting. As someone who's always dreamt of being able to do something in professional wrestling to be a part of this promotion. And I don't work for anyone else. I mean, I stay busy enough working all the MATW shows and helping out with a couple little things behind the scenes and just being the promoter on the ground here in Fairfax. So it's really exciting and it's super cool. And I'm just blessed to be able to do this. We're hoping that the growth we had from show 1 to show 2 will continue from show 2 to show 3. And so we'll see. It's looking like rain on Saturday. So that might be a good thing for springtime, keep people indoors, and maybe we'll bump up our numbers a little bit. But we've got a big show coming, a good show. And, people who want to check us out and see what MATW is, come out to Fairfax and check us out, because there's a buzz, there's social media stuff, there's advertising, there's all kinds of stuff. And there's definitely an online buzz about the show from all over the area, from not just Northern Virginia, but from DC, from Maryland, from West Virginia. There's even
the DMV in general.
There's even some people, traveling from further distances to come to the show, which is really cool to see something like that. It's a very humbling thing to see that. We had our tag team title tournament 2 weeks ago down in Yorktown, and the building was packed. And there was a dude who drove in from Michigan to be there, not for the tag title tournament, but for the Doug's match, Doug Delicious's match that he had. His title defense. The guy drove from Michigan to see that match.
Wow.
And when you see stuff like that, you think like, oh my gosh, like I wouldn't drive to Michigan to, see a show or whatever, but there's people driving to see us. I mean, that's a huge compliment. So
yeah,
most definitely.
That's a big deal.
It's very exciting, and you want to continue to grow. You want to continue to reach your goals and stuff, but you have to remind yourself to kind of enjoy the journey and every step of the way, And so I think most people are doing that. We've got a really, really good crew of guys. and girls, you know, a great locker room. And that's one thing that's very special about MATW is it's the same guys, the same crew, the same wrestlers, announcers, everything, show after show after show. There's continuity. Every match has a purpose. There's, you know, it's not an it's not a, I don't, it's professional wrestling. It's not indie wrestling because it's totally different in how it's presented. Just, you know, if anyone, just come check it out, people. Come check it out because
There
you'll
you
see
go.
for yourself. I realize it's not for everyone because we've been called by some people Southern. We've been called old fashioned. We've been called outdated, even traditional. But 99% of people that come and see us go, okay, this is professional wrestling. It's done the way we feel that it should be done, which is not really being presented in a lot of places. You know, most of the people involved with the promotion who are kind of knee deep in it know lots and lots of people, family, friends, so on, who at one time were wrestling fans and tuned in and watched wrestling, but at some point in time they fell off. They stopped watching. And one of the most common things people say is that it's just not real anymore. It's not the same as it was. It's too fake. It's too overly produced, too showy, too whatever. And we try and present wrestling the way, like I said, the way that we feel it should be, which is a very traditional way, but it's traditional in that everything makes sense and there's psychology and fans are getting invested in the product and in the wrestlers themselves. You're not going to come to our show and see bigger names that might be on a national level or just whoever can get booked for the event. You're going to see the same guys Saturday that were in Nashville, North Carolina at the sold out National Guard Armory last week on one of the hottest crowds I've seen in forever anywhere, or the week before sold out in Yorktown for the tag title tournament or whatever show before that. It's the same
Yeah,
people week
I was
after
there
week and
live,
show
and
after
the
show.
crowd is amazing. The crowd reaction that you guys get. You mentioned the last show. I know this pictures from that last show, but look at the crowd. Look how just you guys are just captured them. They're like
So that's
clearly in the
Yorktown. That's Yorktown, where we are filming TV. You're actually that this view here is a little deceptive in a way because it's facing the entrance and where the hard camera is. If you would turn it around from the other direction, you'll see that the crowd, which I guess would be on the left-hand side of the screen here, goes significantly further back there. They were packed into that building, and it looks great on TV. But that was for the tag title tournament 2 weeks ago. We had a one-night tournament in Yorktown. That's the Snap Mobile Event Center is what that place is called. In Yorktown. But Yorktown's a place that we've built and we're running monthly there right now, doing TV, and just we had our two title tournaments there, and that crowd has really grown, not just in size, but in loyalty, in knowledge of the product, in just being invested emotionally in what they're seeing. And we can talk to our guest when he comes on about his match. For example, the guy that he wrestled against that someone from Michigan drove to see is someone who is a younger wrestler who I remember being down near Harrisonburg at a show, and the crowd was getting behind him and they were chanting, "Let's go, rookie. Let's go, rookie." And they didn't know his name. They just knew he was this young kid and they were getting behind him. And it's grown to this point now where he's knee deep kind of in a little bit of a feud with Doug Delicious. You know, Doug's got a lot of guys gunning for him. I mean, whenever you're the champion, I guess par for the course.
And Mark's, you have a target on your back, pretty much. You know, you're the top guy. You're the bar that has to be beaten.
He is, and he is. You know, again, we'll talk more about this when he comes on. I mean, he's got a lot of years on him, and I don't say that in a derogatory or a negative way, but he is very seasoned. He is very, very experienced, and he has a definite advantage. He might not be, he's a big, strong dude, but he might not be the biggest. He might not be the strongest, not the fastest, doesn't have the best cardio, but I don't think there's anyone out there that's got more of a mind for the business and a brain for it. He's one step ahead. And, you know, I give him credit. He's a fighting champion because he's had several title defenses now. And I'm happy that we have the match that we do for Fairfax because it's a rematch of a recent title match that kind of ended a little controversial there, but
shenanigans were afoot.
but he's maintained that, his grasp on that championship, and I give him credit. He is a fighting champion, and he is, for being a boomer, the boomer of MATW. He is.
Wow.
No, I say that jokingly, but he's wrestling guys literally sometimes that are like almost like half his age. There's some really young talent in MATW, but there's also some very experienced wrestlers there. There's a whole mix of different style wrestlers, different sizes, different ages, experience, all kinds of stuff. And, that's one thing that's great is that you do have a mix of all that, but the way that we book our matches and book our shows, book the television product that's going to be coming out, that young rookie who's Chase Emery is who he is from, I believe he's from South Carolina. He's gotten to the point now where he's
Ron is very, very familiar with Chase Emery.
Very, very popular fan favorite, and the fans in MATW absolutely adore that kid and are 110% behind him. When he started a couple of months ago, they didn't know who he was. He was a guy that came in from South Carolina, but that's an example of what MATW is. They've built him into basically a star. He's more or less a homegrown star there now, and he is quickly rising up the ranks of MATW.
That's not surprising. That's not surprising.
Dude, this kid was holding 4, 5, maybe 6 titles at one time down here, all at the same time.
Yep.
Pro Wrestling Union, Wrestle Force. He's wrestled for. Has he wrestled for CPW? I think he has. I've seen Chase almost everywhere I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I've been to a lot of damn shows. But I've seen Chase in a lot of places. And one thing I will tell you, Chase Emery, if your crowd is behind him, it's a very fun match to watch as a fan. Now, as a professional, because you got to have that line, right? Mm-hmm. Todd, you know exactly what I'm talking about. David's over here nodding his head. I can hear the pebbles rolling around. But when you have a guy that can do what Chase Emery can do, seeing that crowd get behind him, you know where your money's at. And I mean, that's just the way I'm going to put it. When the crowd's behind the talent, you gotta, especially like that, you can't go wrong.
There's countless others though that I would feel remiss if I left out in this conversation. Blade Brown is another guy who is a young dude who is a stud in the ring, who is climbing. I mean, he main evented the show last week in North Carolina against another guy, Victor Andrews, who's another great guy here that we got. Our tag team champions, Bad Magic. Other guys that came in, young guys, young tag team, and they have raised it up there.
Up.
And
you're just name dropping.
You can't go wrong.
Any of those talents.
In my opinion, you can't go wrong with Christopher Prince in a match.
Right.
That's one of my favorite people to watch work in the ring is Christopher Prince. His partner Nathan Cross. I remember when they debuted that team.
Yep.
I've been around both of them guys for the last couple of years, and watching them grow and evolve it's unreal. Yep. And Christopher Prince is a relatively young competitor too. He's only like 24 or something like that.
Yeah.
But he's a fantastic wrestler. I'm going to catch up on comments and then we'll keep going.
Yeah, actually, we'll go into the because you mentioned some of the talent. So
we need to go into the card. Yeah. All right. Josh Simon said, "Do you guys watch AEW?" Yes, we talk about that tomorrow night at 8:00. So be sure to tune in tomorrow night. What's up, Tommy Scott? I will see you Friday potentially. Robin, same to you as well. See you Friday as well. We normally go to XWW. Last Saturday, they got invited to Hidden Night, which is ACCW. Yes. That's further up in North Carolina and from where we normally run at in the Charlotte market.
Where are you in North Carolina?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
You're in okay. So yeah,
But I can get to Charlotte in an hour.
Yeah. And
okay.
I'm in like the weird part of Virginia where like I'm like 45 minutes from Greensboro. I'm like on that weird borderline area.
He's in Bumpkinville in Virginia.
What town are you
in? Blair's.
Okay.
Blair.
What county is that?
Pennsylvania.
Everybody.
Okay. Yeah.
Over there by Danville.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. All areas in Mid-Atlantic, right? And so we've run shows in North Carolina, not a whole lot. We've got a massive show coming up later this year in North Carolina. But there's been talk of stuff in even down in South Carolina. There's been talk of some stuff in parts of West Virginia, and so we're truly a territorial promotion that should be. You guys watch out down there. We're coming for you.
You guys are expanding, and it's clearly with the talent that you having coming in and bringing in. I'm not surprised if that it's happening. It's a guarantee. It was just bound.
As far as talent coming in and things like that, when you start a brand new promotion out like we did, it's difficult to get commitments from people for a slew of dates because a lot of indie promotions run once a month or we run this one spot every 2 months, or when you're running every weekend, multiple shows a month, I mean, it's hard because a lot of guys will go, okay, last year, it's the first of the year. Let me start booking my calendar. Yeah. MATW, Gloucester, Virginia, March. Cool. I can do that. They're not thinking there's going to be 20 more shows the rest of the year all over multiple states, And so getting a commitment from guys to go, okay, they kind of catch the vision and go, this is the real deal. And I need to be a part of this. But in order to be a part of this, I've got to forego maybe some other things. It's been an adjustment because that's out of the ordinary for how stuff typically works in wrestling now.
Yeah, because that's not normally the how things get planned. It's usually whoever is available, they can come in, and that's one thing I really like about MATW, and because not that many promotions are doing it, and we did talk about it, Todd, is the consistency.
Exactly,
the consistency of the storyline, the consistency of the talent is what really is setting you guys apart.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, by the way, reading the comments either. I'm sorry.
You're good. Well, just kind of piggyback on that before I go back into the comments is a lot of guys, you're right, will be like, oh man, there's 20 extra shows coming up. When you're talking about that kind of a commitment, when people are going to have to be there consistently and they're going to have to forego other bookings, and in that case, they're also going to have to, potentially be detrimental to other things that are going on within that promotion and in their region that they predominantly work in. I wouldn't be remiss to say that I'm sure some of the guys have said, oh yeah, my rate is this, not this.
Rate is important, right? Everyone I would love to make a living in professional wrestling. The reality is I don't. I'm a funeral director. Okay. I work 60 hours a week in my shoot job, but I look at wrestling kind of like being like in a band or something, right? You got to do it strictly for the love of doing it, and whatever money comes along is great. But if you catch a break, you make it big, then you're going to make more than enough money to compensate for what you didn't at one time make. If someone says, you know what, I don't want to work this MATW show because I'm going to get more down the road doing whatever, then that's cool. More power to you. You're free to do whatever you want to do. But if you want continued bookings and you want an opportunity to be on TV and all this stuff, it's we're going to book people and push people who are committed to the promotion and to the whole of MATW. If you're going to invest in a talent, they have to invest back in you. It's a mutual thing, And I don't know where I was going with that as far as money goes, because I think we pay fair from everything I can tell, and we're hoping that as we grow, that will increase. But
well, right.
Well,
no, I think one of the biggest parts of the business for me is the business side of it. I enjoyed that conversation, that scenario, because I like knowing that shit. I can understand what I'm seeing in the ring. I don't need to.
I love all aspects of it.
Right. I don't need to know. Yeah, but I don't need to know how to get my ass kicked for.
What he's trying to say, he's not a bump and feed boy. You know, he'll
That's
work
it.
out the
There you
logistics,
go.
but he's not
Yeah.
a bump and feed boy.
Perfect. Yeah.
I don't
I'm
wanna
not.
get either, but it happens sometimes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no. It all right. So it don't happen. No.
Fair enough.
I'm a ring announcer. Give me the microphone. Get out of my way. Let's go. But yeah, they were talking about a couple other shows that they had been in North Carolina. Loki chimed in. What's up? Yep, we will talk about Friday night, tomorrow night. Indian Trail. I don't know where Indian Trail is.
Cliff, you
that's
watch on the
Western.
YouTubes. Love you, Cliff.
And yep, what's up? Cliff Stanley, that's one of our refs down here in the Carolina region. He said, hey to everybody. And here's a question for you. Can you stream MATW and where?
So our television deal that we have is for a network called Right Now TV. It is an free over-the-air station that is in millions of homes across the country, but it's not in every home across the country. We are going to be on TV over the air in Los Angeles, in Las Vegas, in Phoenix, Salt Lake City, Jacksonville, Florida, Nashville, places like that. Around these parts, we're going to be on TV over the air in Norfolk, Virginia, and then up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, but not in between. So the station has a free app on Roku or other multiple other platforms where once we're on there, you can stream live the channel on there. And then, of course, once that is taking place the next day or whatever, it will be on our YouTube pages and places like that. But the short answer to that is right now, yes, you can go on YouTube under MATW, Mid-Atlantic Territory Wrestling, and there are like pilot shows on there, and there's other things on there. So there is stuff you can watch. The person I mentioned earlier who drove down from Michigan somehow stumbled upon us and watches all of our stuff on YouTube or online and has become a fan that way. And that's what sparked their interest and said, I've got to go check these guys out. And so there are people out there watching it. It's not really
live per se,
advertised.
but
It's not live. It's not, but it should be very shortly. But there is stuff out there, and yes, you can get it on YouTube and places like that right now. There's stuff out there. Yes.
So what he's saying is check out the socials.
Come check us out live though.
Come check them out live. Check out the socials for information. That is MATW, Mid-Atlantic Territory Wrestling, on the Facebook, social medias. From there, but we'll definitely stick around, watch us too, because we'll most definitely bring out all the information and put that out on the socials as well.
And we appreciate that. So
That's
thank you guys.
Well, Indian Trail is in Charlotte, and that's coming from Spotlight Scotty Brooks. He's a pro wrestler in this area. I saw the look on your face. I saw the look on Todd's face, and he was like, "Do I know that name?" Scotty's a wrestler down here in the North Carolina market.
There's a lot of them down there.
Throw a stone and you can find one.
I promise.
But let's break down this card, man. Let's go down the card because you had some great matches. Starting right off the bat, Party McFly versus Reggie Collins. Tell me a little about Reggie Collins because this is a new face that I haven't not familiar with him.
He wrestles a lot over in like Elite Pro Wrestling in West Virginia. He's over there. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he lives out towards like Hagerstown, Maryland. So kind of that like tri-state area, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland. Young guy, pretty young, early 20s, very, very skilled for his age. His nickname, he calls himself the youngest veteran in professional wrestling. You would not guess his age and his years of experience or lack thereof by how he wrestles and how he works in the ring. And so he is a guy who's come in and kind of slowly been kind of creeping his way up the card from the bottom, started from scratch, and is looking for some victories to help push him up there. And so he is making the drive, which isn't a short one for him, to Fairfax to wrestle another young guy who's starting out, who doesn't have as much experience, who on the flip side is not driving very far at all because he's from right down the road. So we have two young, up and coming, hungry guys, both in need of a win, both able to get that, So I think it's going to be a good back and forth, and we'll see who will prevail in this match.
That sounds like it's going to be quite the high speed, high flyer, technical. That's the kind of guys that, especially Party McFly.
Party McFly is a high flyer, for sure. Reggie's a little bit more traditional of a kind of grappler. You know, I mean, he can do anything, but he's a little bit more, I think, mat based, maybe, you know, than that. He's bigger than he looks in his photos. He's a taller guy, and so he's a big dude. And as he continues to put muscle on his frame, he's going to be a big dude, you know, as his career advances.
Nice.
And that's it. That's the show. One match.
Oh, fantastic. So easy. So easy.
Well, make sure you get your money's worth.
Yep.
This one I'm
Gemstone
excited
and
for.
Dirty Money.
I am familiar with both of these competitors, and let me tell you, Gemstone is going to be a hard man to crack. Dirty Money is known for his shenanigans. I mean, it's in his name, Dirty. And the fact that these two are going to go against each other in this matchup, this is going to be guaranteed the sleeper hit of the night.
Yeah. So speaking of Party McFly being a hometown guy, Dirty Money is another hometown guy who's been around for a long time. And he's a very, very popular wrestler around here. He always brings a big throng of people with him when he comes. Gemstone primarily is a tag team wrestler. Great team from down in the Carolinas, XLG. His partner is not available this weekend, but Gemstone still wanted to be here. Signed a contract, and it's going to be Gemstone against Dirty Money. And so you would think that Dirty would probably have an advantage as a singles wrestler over a guy who's primarily a tag team wrestler. I'd say Gemstone, though, has a size and strength advantage.
Agreed.
And quite honestly, he's probably coming in a little pissed off because they were upset in the semifinals of the tag title tournament. And I know they were confident in going into that tournament that they had as good a shot as anyone of winning those tag team titles, which are really beautiful belts, by the way, if you haven't seen them. But they got upset. They got upset by the eventual champions, Bad Magic. And so I'm sure he's really shooting to get back in the win column and try and get a little momentum going for him and subsequently his partner, G-Money, as they get back in the swing of things. But he is coming to go at it solo in Fairfax. And so should be a good match between two big, strong guys. And, you know, but Dirty will definitely have a hometown advantage here because I know they love him around here. So he's a very popular guy around here.
Right. Coming up after that, looks like Preston Quinn and Blade Brown.
Speaking of guys who are a little PO'd and probably have a bit of a chip on their shoulder coming out of the tag tournament, Preston Quinn's another guy. A lot of people said the Extreme Horsemen, him and his partner C.W. Anderson, were the odds-on favorites to win that tag title tournament. They went into the finals of that tournament against Bad Magic, who actually were a little bit reeling and a little bit beat up after their match with XLG. And they shocked every single fan in attendance in Yorktown by beating the veteran team of Preston Quinn and C.W. Anderson. I know Preston Quinn very well. I know that he is not a happy camper right now. Subsequently, I don't know if it messed with his psyche a little bit. He's itching to get back in the win column. They had a very brutal match last week in North Carolina. The Extreme Horsemen did against Ace Montana and Ricky Morton, actually, of the Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. That was I seen some pictures of that matchup.
Yes,
and it was intense to say the least.
The crowd was so hot. I thought I was watching Jim Crockett Promotions from 1986. I mean, it was unbelievable. So they came out victorious there. But they were still looking for, I think, some revenge or something. And I know they've got their sights on Bad Magic. So once again, another guy who's trying to, get another win or two under his belt here after getting a little deflated, I think, in that tag title tournament. Blade Brown, we talked about earlier. Very popular, probably the fastest rising star in MATW. You know, like I said, he main evented the show last week. He came out victorious in just a violent, brutal dog collar match. And I think he won a lot of fans over last show in Fairfax back in the fall. And so I think he's going to have the backing of some fans here in Fairfax. But again, it's another example of a cagey veteran with a lot of experience against an up and coming guy. And what's going to pay off? Is it the young athleticism and the exuberance of youth and all that? Or is it going to be the cagey veteran with the experience and the wisdom? And, you know, it's going to be a clash of styles. Preston Quinn's going to try and slow it down a bit, try and do some power moves and wear him down. Blade's going to try and strike fast and get that victory there. And so, you know, which way will it go? I don't know.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun match because there's
Great
two
match.
aggressive guys going at it. They're both frustrated. They both have a lot of something to prove at this point. And it's going to
Blade's
be
still young and hungry, right? I mean, Preston Quinn has been there and done that. Blade is still young and hungry. You know, they both got victories last week in North Carolina, which is great. But again, you've got a big difference in experience and styles, and you know, so be curious.
This could go either way.
It
could go either way.
Exactly.
Most definitely. Let's see here. The ladies are in the house. We got Lexi Steele versus Amanda Kiss.
So this is the first time that we've ever had a women's match on a house show. We did have one match before, actually between these two, at a TV taping. It was kind of a featured attraction there, and we said let's give this women's wrestling thing a whirl here and see what we got. And the crowd ate it up. And so when I was looking for matches and things we could present to the fans here in Fairfax, we said we got to have a women's match here in Fairfax. And so these two will go at it again, and fairly evenly matched, you know, but we will, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to think who won their first meeting. I can't remember, but yeah, it'll be a good back and forth match, very evenly contested between these two. And you know, we thus far in MATW, we do not, and there are not plans necessarily right now for a women's division. And so it's going to be, for the time being, kind of featured attractions here and there. And so this is not something that you're normally going to see on a lot of shows. And so it is, if you want to see women wrestling and you want to see it in MATW, this is an opportunity to come out and see that, you know, see something that you're not going to get on every show.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, two great talents. Amanda Kiss, known for her unorthodox style, and
Dude.
it's going to be a fun match regardless.
And I tried my best to get her to get on this show tonight, and she was not available. And so
her interviews or videos or promos or any of whatever you want to call it are spectacular. I had the chance to speak with her outside of WrestleCade earlier. What was that, last year, or was that earlier this year?
Last year.
It was last year. Dude, I don't know what day it is. So, but I had the opportunity to speak with her for a few moments outside of WrestleCade. I was outside smoking a cigar, I believe, and I bumped into her. But she remembered me from a seminar we were both at with Dr. Tom Pritchard. And when I told her that I had followed her and watched her evolve in those last few months, even, I was like, the difference is uncanny. She's definitely one to watch.
And then just her clashing with Lexi Steele, like you said, this is the second time they've clashed there, correct?
Yep.
So you know they've done each other's homework. They're gonna come in at feeling each other out again, and it's just gonna be an even better clash this time around. I'm excited to see where this one goes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Cliff said both ladies are definitely great talents. 100%.
Agreed. Yeah.
Big time. Speaking of the tag team champions, those are nice looking titles. They really are. The
That picture doesn't do
MATW.
him justice.
Oh, it doesn't.
No, those belts are like, I kind of feel bad for Doug. They like put his belt to shame. I mean, they're super nice. Like when they came, when the boxes opened, it was like, whoa, these are nice.
So
an angelic choir sings in the background.
Yeah.
I mean, I just heard that Doug is getting a new belt. Then I just heard there's going to be a new.
Hear that? Absolutely.
I just heard that MATW is buying a new heavyweight title for them to be nicer.
I heard it's going to be the delicious title. It's going to be that good.
You know, some fans might call it the disgusting title, so you have to ask Doug about that one.
Oh, I don't know, but anyway, Bad Magic, Black Wall Street.
They have quickly
Bless you.
climbed the ranks of
Sorry, she got a little excited about this tag matchup. I am too.
Yeah, their first title defense will be this Saturday night. So yet another reason to come out and check out MATW. It is the very first title defense ever for the brand new, beautiful MATW Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Championships. And not only that, but to add a little more sizzle to the steak, as a friend of mine says, they're defending against a team making their debut in MATW. Drolix and Chuck Lennox, the team collectively known as Black Magic, as the old guy in the AWA would say. Black Wall Street. Did I say black? Yeah, black. Good God. Not Black Magic. We don't want any voodoo around here. Black Wall Street. So they're a team that has held championships throughout Maryland and MCW Pro Wrestling, over in West Virginia and Primal Conflict Wrestling. Everywhere they've been, they've held championships. And they are coming in to this event, making their debut in MATW, and are immediately being thrust into the championship scene here. And you know, that's just one thing with MATW. While we have a lot of homegrown stars and talent, there's also guys there's always new faces coming in. And here is a very, very experienced, very seasoned veteran tag team that, I mean, they work impeccably together, you know? And so you're going to have a little bit, and maybe it's kind of the theme of the night here. You're going to have, once again, kind of some younger guys, a younger team that's going against some seasoned veterans here. You know, this time with championship gold on the line. And so I'm really curious to see how these teams wrestle each other. I think this has potential to be the show stealer, because Bad Magic certainly is a fast-paced tag team, but I have also seen Black Wall Street put it in gear and go as well. And so I think that this thing could be chaotic and fast-paced and boom, boom, boom. And I think they're going to tear the house down on Saturday night.
I mean, gold is on the line. It's all about those newly acquired titles, and they're going to do everything in their power to defend those beautiful, beautiful titles.
Beautiful titles. Modeled after the old early 90s WCW tag team titles.
I was getting ready to say that was the vibe I got from them. Anyway.
And I actually think that the MATW belts look better than the WCW ones did.
I mean, no matter what, you've always got a leg up on WCW. You didn't hire Vince Russo, okay? You didn't hire Vince Russo, so you've always got a leg up.
Yeah.
And finally, Doug Delicious defending against Ace Montana.
These guys have wrestled numerous times before in MATW, in singles matches and tag matches. I think even in 6-man tag team matches. If I'm not mistaken, they did previously have a title match against each other. That was at one of our television tapings. And I think Mr. Delicious may have bent the rules somewhat to come out victorious in that match. You know, you may say he was a step ahead of Ace Montana, who is a very seasoned guy himself. But you're looking at what are arguably the most popular and the most hated two men in all of MATW. And so there's no question that the crowd will be 110% behind Ace Montana and 110% against Doug Delicious here, or as fans have affectionately been calling him, Doug Disgusting. A very, very, very interesting thing with Doug is that fans do not like him, but you can tell that fans respect him.
I was about to say,
and that is a very kind of unique thing. They're like, oh man, this guy, like, what the hell? He won the title, but they're kind of like, yeah, man, you got to give him props. It makes sense. He's a veteran. He's been around. He's a big, strong guy. He knows his stuff. Like, we don't like it, but we can accept it, and we understand. We get it. That's kind of how it is. They don't like him, but he's got their respect. They have his, it's a respect. There's a respect there. So, and I'm sure he's got a lot to say that he's waiting. He's been waiting patiently in the video green room there to join us here.
Being called Doug Disgusting. That's just, I don't know how he feels about that. I mean, bring him on, Ron, because I would love to hear from his perspective.
Okay, now,
ladies and gentlemen,
hold on. You stop. Hold up. Flag on the play. Time out. Before anybody says anything, I wanted noted that I didn't call that man Doug whatever. That's welcome to the show, Mr. Doug Delicious. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, good. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic.
Champ, I must apologize on behalf of our event here this evening. I didn't know we were going to keep you on hold there for 45 minutes, and so
that's all right.
I thank you for being patient with us here.
I know. I just know how much you respect me now, which there's none. Which seems that's all I get anymore.
Are you talking about me?
With everybody.
I respect you. I've known you for
especially with Ron, the promoter, and bringing up the Doug Disgusting stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, everybody knows that the promoter is really butthurt because I'm the champion. I mean, whenever we went into the Super 8 tournament, I mean, basically I wrestled everybody who was 20 years plus younger than me. He stacked the deck because he wanted an indie darling. He wanted a golden boy to represent Mid-Atlantic. And now, since he didn't get that, he's upset. And, he got this chant going with the Doug Disgusting, and it's everywhere we go. And it's quite annoying. But, and there again, there's a lot of people that don't like that I'm the champion. And like I said, they were hoping for someone like a Chase Emery or a Blade Brown to represent the company, and they just can't stand that someone like me represents the company. And I don't know why, because I bring legitimacy to the title. I mean, you got to look at where I've been, who I've wrestled over the years, who I've been trained by. I bring actual legitimacy to that title, and I am the only Mid-Atlantic champion in the entire region. Other promotions have their Mid-Atlantic titles, which are crap. I am the only recognized Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion in the entire region. And I will keep saying that, and I will beat that in everybody's head. There's nobody in the whole entire Mid-Atlantic region that can beat me, period. There might be guys that are younger than me. There might be guys that are better wrestlers than me. And, this isn't 20 years ago. I was a fantastic wrestler 20 years ago. I'm a little bit more mature now, but that's okay because I'm a lot smarter. And everybody I seem to get in the ring with, they underestimate me a little bit, which is fine. Well, they used to until the Super 8 tournament. And then I had to prove everybody wrong. So keep on with the name calling, Doug Disgusting. It does nothing but motivate me even more, Todd. So you and Ron can, do whatever you want to do with that.
With all due respect, we're here to talk about the show. We're here to talk to you about being the champion. There was no disrespect of anything intended towards you.
I love you, champ. I think you're a great champ.
It's right or wrong, good or bad. It's a fact of what is currently going on at MATW events. And I think what our main focus here this evening to do is to introduce the MATW product to people who are not familiar with it, and to let people know kind of what they're in for if and when they come out to an MATW show. And so while I don't necessarily condone what fans yell, I mean, I've known you for a decade before anyone ever yelled disgusting at you. And I know what kind of a wrestler you are. And I wasn't surprised necessarily that you won the title. I give you extra props for having won the title, because a lot of times in wrestling now you see these tournaments and it's spread out over multiple weeks and shows and places. And this was a legitimate old school one night tournament where Doug went through 3 different opponents, victorious in every single one, to get his hand raised victorious at the end of the night. And
I mean,
they
that's
was
a
warm about
gauntlet,
him.
and it shows your tenacity. That shows your stamina. That shows
The
your
old guy
endurance.
had the endurance and the stamina and the tenacity to get through a one night tournament and be the last man standing and the king of the mountain when the whole thing was said and done. So people could call him disgusting. I don't really like calling another man delicious, but hey, you know what? He's the champion and no one can deny that. And he's been a fighting champion. He's defended the title many times already, multiple states, if I'm not mistaken. He's not a company champion or a town champion or a whatever belt some promotion has that gets defended every 3 months. He's been defending it multiple times, show after show, and he's coming into Fairfax to defend it once again against a guy he's already beaten in the ring. I'm glad we have the match. He's already,
And this isn't your first title reign. This is I think if correct me if I'm wrong, the 4th title that you have in your illustrious career to have gained. If correct me if I'm wrong.
Are you talking about like heavyweight title?
Yeah, just your title.
I don't know. I
lost
probably 6 or 7 heavyweight titles in my career. But I mean, this title to me was really special. From one, like I say, we've been a company that we haven't been around very long. And when you're starting a company from the ground up, any type of company, it takes a while. And we had to go to different towns to find what towns are working, what towns aren't. And it's been a long haul. And but with every show, we just keep proving we are who we say we are. We don't have a lot of flippity flop guys around, and we don't. I don't want them around. I mean, maybe the fans do, maybe they don't. We're very old school wrestling with a little bit of new flavor, but what you see is what you get, and it's hard hitting. The legitimacy of Mid-Atlantic is what's important to us. I mean, we have real wrestlers that have actually been trained. They have been trained in the backyard, like 99% of the guys on the indies, and they've actually been trained by people who are reputable. They've actually been places, and it's actually, after this first of the year, more people are interested in coming to Mid-Atlantic now because of the reputation that we've built.
Like I said, it might not be for everyone. I'm not naive enough to think that it is for everyone, but it's damn sure for a vast majority of people who've been checking it out. And when we have legends in the business come out and see one of our shows and come backstage to the locker room and rave about what they're seeing and are just blown away and telling us how, guys, what you're doing is right. No one is doing what you're doing, how you're doing, and growing and moving in the direction you guys are going. And this is like Ron Simmons and Ricky Morton and Earl Hebner. And these are all like, it's just for an example, our first show in Fairfax. Okay. I'll be the first to admit that it was a bad weekend to run and we didn't draw nearly as many people as I thought we would. Every single person in that building was buzzing when that show was over. And they were like going, oh, holy shit. Like, what is this? And when are you coming back? And how can I get more of this? Another town, we ran some shows early in our existence in Elkton, Virginia, which is probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes south of Harrisonburg.
Mhm.
First show there, decent crowd, not overly huge. And it was a vibe of kind of like, let's check this out and see what we've got.
Mhm.
A month later, we returned there and we doubled the attendance, and people were on fire, ready for what they had coming. And it just, again, you got to stop and smell the roses and enjoy each step of the journey. But it's exciting to watch, and you see where it can go when you want to get there, and kind of, but getting champions and having titles now. And once we finally get on TV, and those are some big steps for us. I don't want to say as far as legitimacy goes, but they're things that you should expect from a professional wrestling promotion.
Mhm.
And you just can't come out of the gate day one and have all that stuff already lined up. It takes time
You
to
know,
get there.
usually what they say, and if and I've heard this saying before, you usually know within 3 shows where your promotion's headed after that. And it just kind of goes to show the
I got the
environment.
owner calling me right now.
MATW is. I know
Call me.
you can pick it up. Baby. Feel free.
We're not going behind the curtain here right now. So
Okay.
No.
Probably,
I mean, I can always drop you off the screen and
You're
talk
good.
to Doug, and you can handle your business. Then you
You're
just
good.
wave at me, and I'll bring you back. No big deal.
It's
well,
all good.
so I was saying, so it just goes to show the type of environment that MATW has built. The fact that the talent has the ability to shine the way that they do, put on the matches that they do, and the fans are receptive to it. The fans are able to see the quality of work. And you bring up the first show. I was there at the first show. The vibe, the presentation, was fantastic. It was. I haven't seen something like that in a while, and I even told the promoter and you guys that it had that old school WCW vibe. It had that old that '90s vibe that it just missing from some of the shows, and just the realness. There's no other way to put it. It's just the atmosphere. You could feel it, and you could see the potential. And I think that's another thing that a lot of fans are seeing, and that's why they want to come back for more. Because I felt that instinct. Like as soon as the show was done, I was like, I want more. I'm excited. That was amazing.
And I like what you said there as far as realness. I think that's a really good term, because earlier I think I said that one thing that was missing was, for a lot of wrestling fans. I have lots of family that they grew up watching NWA and Jim Crockett Promotions and all that. They fell off somewhere in the early 90s because it was not real. It didn't have that realness and that believability. And for professional wrestling to be done correctly, fans have to be vested in what they're supporting. They have to care. There has to be a reason to buy a ticket and to get behind a wrestler, or to not get behind a wrestler in some people's case here and boo them or whatever. That's fine, but you gotta react, and you gotta care about what you're seeing and why you're seeing it. And so I like that you said a realness, because that's probably the best way to put it, because when professional wrestling can be a very, very simple thing to do correctly, but oftentimes promoters will try anything but basic professional wrestling on a show. They try and reinvent the wheel, or try and do if you just present it the proper way, where you don't insult fans' intelligence and you don't make things corny or what but it just seems like no one wants to do that. Everyone's trying to.
It's kind of like a masterpiece. Like, they say a lot of it in art. You could practice it and practice, but once you're a master of the craft, you'll see a difference between the quality of work.
It depends. It depends on your area. It depends on your market. Look, Spartanburg, South Carolina is a peculiar market. Believe it or not, one of the most popular shows that have been in Spartanburg in the last couple years that I've been here was a classic built show. So there was a couple of off the wall. There was a couple of gimmicky gimmicks. You know what I'm saying? But there wasn't a whole bunch of high flying indie shit. There really wasn't. But then, some of the longest running shows It's a whole nother ball game. It all depends on where you go. I go to Charlotte, and predominantly what you see in Charlotte is some of the crazy stuff, some of the high flying or some of the hardcore. You go to Georgia, it's a lot of hardcore shit down in Georgia because they can bleed buckets. Don't nobody care. You can't do that shit in Maryland. Maryland's commission, if you get a splinter, you're out. Them dudes, they're ridiculous, but that's Maryland. Maryland's stupid about everything.
For me,
No
the
comment.
story that got no comment. The story for me is just like the realness. It's kind of like I wanted to keep watching and seeing what happened with that Super 8. Because you hear Doug, oh, he made it to the next round. He made it to the next round. I'm like, that what? He made it to the next round. And then finally be able to take it. Just wow. Just you showed, wow, that guy, he made through a gauntlet of a match. He must be exhausted going through all these matches. And he's still somehow pulling it through and just taking the whole thing. That is just awesome storytelling right there.
It was like
I mean,
the second coming of Doug Delicious in a way. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't mean that in a negative way, because like I said, I've known him. I've refereed countless Doug Delicious matches over several states, but it was like the second wind or the second, like he came through that tournament and got on the microphone and cut one of the greatest promos I've ever seen in person and just laid it out there. And this belt is mine. You want it? Here I am. I'm taking on anyone and everyone. And it was like, whoa, this is the real deal right here.
And it's kind of funny you put it like that, because it actually was, because a lot of people were like I said, the deck was stacked, and I don't get me wrong, I have a lot of respect for anybody I get in the ring with.
Mhm.
But when we're in the ring, that's totally different. And it was kind of a rebirth, because I knew at the tournament I was going to have to pull out anything I could to win that tournament. And no one really gave me a shot anyway, just because, I'm considered an old school guy and an old timer or whatnot. But there again, I'm not the Doug Delicious of 20 years ago. And actually, athletically, I slowed down a little bit. I'm a lot more mature now. That's how I like to put it. And
Methodical.
as
You're
far
more
as
methodical.
knowledge in the ring and what to do in certain situations, I know where I'm at all times. And a lot of these young guys, they get too impatient. And sometimes I'm just able to capitalize on it. And, it's at this point, it has been like a rebirth for me, and it's given me a lot more confidence. And it's given me a lot of confidence, actually. And I'm very proud to have the title. And I tell everybody, it doesn't matter who it is. I'm the real Mid-Atlantic champion. If anybody from anywhere in the Mid-Atlantic wants to wrestle me and prove me wrong, then just get a hold of the promoters. Me and the promoter for Mid-Atlantic had a little, we were going back and forth there a couple weeks ago. And a lot of people reached out to me about throughout the whole entire Mid-Atlantic region about how they wanted to challenge me. And I'm like, fellas, this isn't your backyard promotion. You got to get a hold of the promoter of the company. It's an actual LLC. Come in that way, because we already got a roster of a lot of hungry young guys. With all due respect, I respect them, but when we get in that ring, that belt, at all costs, that belt's going to stay with me. I'm going to be the Mid-Atlantic champion for a long time, and I don't care what the promoter or anybody tries to stack up against me. It doesn't matter. There already have been some inquiries about bringing some people in that are interested in challenging me, and that's fine with me. Honestly, it doesn't intimidate me at least one bit. But then again, I'll put our locker room up with any locker room. It's just as far as being tough and actually trained on the indies. Period.
Okay.
And like I said, I mean, and I'll do it. I'll do it here right now. If there's anybody in the entire Mid-Atlantic region who wants to get a hold of Ron and thinks they're good enough to take me on, that's fine. I mean, I look forward to it. But it's like this. Right now, I don't think there's anybody that can touch me. Nobody. I don't care if it's Blade Brown. I don't care if it's Party McFly.
Doug, like,
I just don't care.
Who did you go through? So for people who are not aware, who did you go through the 3 victories you got in the title tournament? Who did you defeat on your way?
Chase Stevens was the first, Blade Brown second, and then I beat Anthony Athens in the finals.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Not easy guys to beat too. But now you mentioned all that, you said all that, you're going up against Ace Montana. This, I like to say it a lot. You guys are 2 big beefy boys. That's going to be a brutal match. And this is not your first go around against each other. He's not going to make it easy, Doug.
No, he's not going to make it easy. And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, Ace has been around a long time, and I get that. But then again, I mean, he does a lot of talking. Anybody who knows me, I mean, I'm just straight up. I'm going to come in the ring and I'm going to beat your ass. One way or another, I'm going to beat your ass. And I'm going to mentally get in your head. And honestly, I've beaten Ace, I don't know. I've beaten Ace so many times now, I can't even remember. And the outcome isn't going to be any different. I will beat Ace Saturday night. Even though he's a great wrestler, but he's not Doug Delicious. Period.
And, you know, Ace is a top contender for sure. He does have championship gold in MATW. He is basically the North Carolina state heavyweight champion for the Max Pro promotion down there. That's been running those amazing events in Nashville, North Carolina. So he won their title, I guess, sometime last year. So he is a top contender for Ace. He hadn't gotten the job done, or for Doug, he hadn't gotten the job done yet, though. And so he will get another opportunity. But I know there's a lot of title defenses waiting in the wings for the champion, and that's Doug right now. And so
there's a lot.
As we roll into summertime, we've got some shows lined up, and and Doug's aware of some of the very big shows we have coming up down the road, and he's the champion. He's the one that's going to be top billed on all those shows, and until someone can knock him off the mountain, he's the king.
Right. Man, there's been one person burning up the comment section, so let me go ahead and catch up on this. Andy Wynn Weinberg, did I say that right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Doug D in the house, the legend. He said, Doug, put the heat on in your house and get that winter hat off. Maryland is for losers. I like this guy.
Okay.
Isn't he from Maryland?
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Todd, your nose is turning brown putting over Doug like that.
I don't necessarily think I'm putting Doug over. I'm just giving credit where credit is due.
He's just giving back. Andy's just jealous because he's not on the show and he likes to hog up all the spotlight. So
he grew up watching Doug Delicious. That's a true champion.
Okay.
David, you have a booger in your left nostril, man.
I got it. All right, we're good.
Anyway, get back to Mid-Atlantic. I don't think there's no doubt that we have a lot going on right now, and we have picked up a lot of steam, especially over the last couple months. And we're looking to go into other markets, and other markets want us there. And I'm going to be very busy, like over the next probably 3 months, defending the title. And I think we're just probably another year away from seeing some amazing things. We've already seen some amazing things happen, but it's going to be really, I'm really excited to be a part of this and to see it grow and to see it blossom. And the fact that I'm the first Mid-Atlantic Territory heavyweight champion means a lot to me. And I know they're looking at me to, carry the torch, so to speak. And I'm just looking forward to this next year. Like I said, we got young guys that are hungry, and I like that. I like to be challenged, and I'll never step back from a challenge. And like I say, I've been doing this way too long. Nothing intimidates me. No one's going to intimidate me. If anything, I'm going to be doing the intimidating. And a lot of these young guys, they just need to get over. I don't care. They can be stronger than me, faster than me, better looking than me. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I'm going to remain the Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion. And until someone can step up to the plate and take that belt away from me, I'm just going to keep being the champ.
Strong words, and I believe
maybe
it. Actually, since we're having on, you have such a veteran mindset. You have I think just the kind of guy I'm looking for. Let's go our quick predictions real quick before we wrap things up here, because we do have the matches up here. I want to hear what you have to say about these two talents. Who do you think? Who's your money? If Doug Delicious was a betting man, which one of these two will be the one going over in this matchup?
Winning the matchup.
Yeah,
Party's
Really?
hot right now. Yeah, Party's hot right now. He's really hungry. And, you could tell just by looking at both of them who the star is here, who the upcoming star is here. So I like Party.
David, you going to throw a guess in there or no?
I was going to agree. Party.
I'll play devil's advocate. I think maybe the youngest veteran in professional wrestling might have a little bit of an edge here. I'll go with maybe Reggie Collins on this one.
I'm going with Reggie Collins.
All right.
We split the panel tonight. Gemstone versus Dirty Money. Todd, let me hear from you first on this one.
I have to say Dirty, just because he's focused on being a singles competitor. Gemstone's a tag team wrestler, kind of venturing out of his element a little bit. He's traveling a long way to get up here. Dirty is a hometown guy. He's going to have a lot of family and friends and people who love him there. And I think he kind of turns it up a notch when he's got that support and that crowd there. And so I think that may propel him over the finish line in this contest.
I agree he may have hometown advantage, but
there's no mate, so he will. So
I'm just saying, I think Gemstone's going to take this one.
Okay.
I've seen him wrestle. I've seen his work. He is mostly known for his tag team, but he has held titles before, and he's held them and he's defended them. And I think this is kind of his way of kind of showing Northern Virginia that he's more than just a tag team specialist. He can go in the ring and he can handle himself in the ring. And he's going to show that this week.
Doug, your thoughts?
Dirty.
You got Dirty? Well, split room again because I'm going Gemstone.
I'll give you guys a fun fact here real quick. A coworker of mine brought her daughter to the last show in Fairfax. And her daughter, they both loved it, had a great time, and we're coming back to the next show. I talked to the kid after the show, and I said, did you have fun? She said, yeah. I said, who was your favorite wrestler? And she said, Gemstone. So Gemstone was her favorite wrestler.
That's awesome.
But before I give you guys the next the next match to predict, y'all got to read this shit. I'd rather give myself a maple syrup enema and sit on an anthill than go to Maryland.
So what's with all of the Maryland hating going on? Now I'm from Northern Virginia. I'm full of Maryland hating. I
was born in Arlington and raised in St. Mary's County, like near the tobacco farms and shit.
That's like country.
No, that's Mechanicsville. I lived in I can tell you where the Amish folk are because I lived there. That's like Mechanicsville and Loveville. I live down in this little ass place called the 7th District. I mean, you blink and you went through it before you even started to blink.
I think it's the Old Bay, honestly.
It's the Old Bay. No, I love Old Bay. To be fair, if you want me to tell you why I hate Maryland, I have never seen anybody try to fake being somebody else more than I have 98% of the population of Maryland. You want proof? I got you. Baltimore? Look, Baltimore, thug. DC, gangster.
Wow.
Go a little south, PG. Wanna be gangster.
Wow.
Go a little south over here in like Charles County and bullshit. Wanna be thugs. And the further away you go, the further removed you are, and the more half-assed they become. They
Yeah.
are scabs. I can't stand them.
Wow. Yeah.
I
Don't.
got no love lost for Maryland and Baltimore, but
Yeah.
No.
He'll go
hold
on a
on.
rant if
Hold
we
on.
let him. But he'll go on a rant.
Well,
if we let him about
one more
Maryland.
statement.
Oh my
One more
God.
statement. One more statement. There's only one great thing that ever came out of Baltimore, Maryland. Do you want to know what it was?
A Greyhound bus.
No, an empty Greyhound bus. Meaning nobody from Baltimore came out. And guess what? I've been married to a woman from Baltimore for, it's not going to make 20 years. I'll put it that way. It won't
Noted.
make 20 years.
Noted. Move on.
Yep.
all right. What's our next match?
Yep, next match. Here we go. We got Preston Quinn and Blade Brown. Co-host David, you start us off with this one.
I'm going to go with Preston Quinn. He has the experience. He has the tenacity, the aggressiveness, and plus he showed out on this last matchup how dangerous he can be. I think this is going to go to him.
Doug, what you got?
Preston Quinn.
Todd, what you got?
I'll throw a nugget of insider information in there. Preston Quinn has recently been dealing with a little bit of a back issue, and he has also been ill recently. Now, that said, Preston Quinn. So I think he is. You know, we talk about Doug and the kind of new lease on life and the second coming of Doug Delicious. I think that arguably potentially the most underrated or underappreciated, one of the most underappreciated wrestlers out there anywhere is Preston Quinn. He is really, really, really good. And I think people sleep on him. He's really good. And I think that the task might be too big for Blade Brown in Fairfax. Especially a motivated, pissed off Preston Quinn.
Exactly. It's exactly the point I was making.
So our split is done now.
Yeah, there's no split on this one because it's unanimous decision for Preston Quinn. Let's see here. The ladies match, Lexi Steele, Amanda Kiss. Doug, what do you think on this one?
Me, I don't care. I don't get into women's matches.
I say Amanda Kiss.
Fair. We got one for Amanda Kiss. We got one guy who does not get into women's matches. Todd, where are you at on this one?
I was going to go with Amanda Kiss as well.
Well, there you go.
I think you always are careful to say that like she's a big woman or something like that. You don't want to come across sounding disrespectful towards a woman. She's a very in shape woman, but she is got some height and some strength to her for a woman. And I think that she is potentially a force to be reckoned with amongst women out there, period. And so I think she may have the edge here.
I'm going to go with Lexi in this case. I have seen Lexi go against some serious talent over the last couple of years.
I think Lexi won their first meeting, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not positive on that. I don't remember, but I think she came out victorious. So this might be see if Amanda can even things up between the two of them.
Well, there you go. Let's see here. The tag team title matchup. I'm going to go ahead and throw my vote out first and let everybody else play catch up. You're not going to hear and new. It will be and still. Bad Magic.
Oh, this one's hard.
Well, I think I would tend to agree with you on that. But I'll say this. If we do hear and new Saturday night, in this match, it is going to send shockwaves through the wrestling world to have a team come in and make their debut and come out victorious with championship gold. If that said, if there's a team that could do it, it could be Black Wall Street, because they are very seasoned veterans, very seasoned professionals there. But I think Bad Magic is just riding a lightning bolt right now, and I think they got a little bit of that horseshoe still up the rear ends. So I think they're probably going to come out on top.
Doug?
Black Wall Street. I've been in the ring with both these guys, with Chuck and Drolix, and you know, they work really well together. They've known each other a long time, and they've been multiple tag team champions throughout Maryland, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. So I'm going for Black Wall Street.
Okay.
That would not be a huge surprise, but they got to be on their A game in their debut, which I'm sure they will be anyway. So
I you know what? Oddly enough, I think we agree on that. I think this might be a short reign from them. For Bad Magic, it's just, you guys just said it for me. The longevity, how many times they've been on the road, the previous championship matchups, they have the potential to show up, show out, make a debut, and walk away champs. Black Wall Street.
Well, that leaves us with just the main event of the evening, and that is the MATW heavyweight title matchup between Doug Delicious and Ace Montana.
Big, beefy boys being brutal. What more can you ask for?
Pretty confident that there's going to be a lot of people voting the same way on this one here. I'm fairly confident I'm going to be agreeing with Doug on this one. But we'll see. Todd, you go ahead and lay out your prediction for this one.
As Jim Ross so eloquently would say, I think this is going to be a slobber knocker. I have had the privilege of officiating a match between these two before, numerous times in the ring with both these guys. I think it's similar to the tag title match. I think Mr. Delicious here is riding a wave right now, and I think it's going to be hard for someone to knock him off of that. Could Ace do it? Hey, in professional wrestling, anything can happen at any time. Anybody can be. Anybody's 3 seconds away from victory. You know, I think. And on the flip side, without being disrespectful to Ace Montana, I think right now Doug is taking things a bit more serious than Ace is. Ace has some stuff going on with the Horsemen and different things, and he emotional, and sometimes emotions can maybe get the best of you. Doug's focused. He's determined. He's honed in on what the mission at hand is, and I think he probably will come out victorious again and continue his reign. So
my money is on the true Mid-Atlantic champion, Mr. Double D, Doug Delicious. Look, Montana, he's a great talent. He's a showcase talent. He's a showmanship. But even just said, if you get emotional, you make mistakes. This is not their first time going around. This is going to be a fight. I agree, slobber knocker. But after the great showcase that Doug Delicious put on with the gauntlet, he's just proving time and time again that he's a champ. He's going to walk away champ. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy.
Look, I already pulled my wallet out, and money's on Doug.
You're smart.
Thanks. Thanks. You know, I try.
Hey, listen. I mean, it's just the facts are this: Ace is going to be tough. He's been around a while. He's a heavy hitter, but I'm a heavy hitter too. And there again, I don't have to beat Ace. He has to beat me. And I'm the champ. And right now, I mean, my confidence level is sky high. I've been getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, working out. I actually hired somebody to take over my training. And I'm serious about this. Like right now, I really don't feel like there's anybody, no disrespect towards the locker room because we got great guys. And I just don't feel like right now there's anybody who can touch me on any level in Mid-Atlantic, period. I think I'm been there, done that. And where, a lot of these guys lack in experience, that's when I take advantage of them. And I've been able to, so far, successfully defend my title. And like I say, if I can defend my title over the next couple months, I got a busy schedule. And once again, I'm going to set out to do what I do. And it might not be fancy. A lot of people might not like it, Ron, but I am the Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion. And there again, that challenge goes out to anybody in the entire Mid-Atlantic region. Get a hold of the promoter. If you think you can beat me, talk to them and let's get it done. But you got to work your way up like everybody else has. And as soon as I get done knocking them out of the way, then you can come my way. But all honesty, right now, there again, Ace, I don't have to beat Ace. He's got to beat me, and I've already beaten him several times.
Just to clarify, Ron is the owner, right?
One of them, yes.
Okay,
Correct.
cool. Because every time he kept yelling Ron, I was like, why the hell is he yelling at me? I didn't get it at first. And I was like, wait, how the hell does he know my name?
Yeah.
What did I do here?
And there again, I brought that up earlier. He's one of the promoters. And, like I say, I mean, what they've been able to put together as far as Mid-Atlantic has been great. And we're really picking up and catching steam. But I just don't think there's a lot of people that aren't happy the fact that, that I'm the champ. And they don't like how I win. They don't like my attitude. But I really don't care because at the end of the day, there's nothing they can do about it. I earned my way into the tournament. And I can't help that, they did stack the deck against me. And Ron in particular. And then, it just didn't turn out like they thought it would. Now everybody's mad. And, you know what? Set them up and I'll just keep knocking them down. But like I've said, and I'm going to keep saying, anybody in the entire Mid-Atlantic region that thinks they can beat the real Mid-Atlantic champion, get a hold of the promoters and let's do it. As far as the roster, with all due respect, because I think we got a great roster, everybody is a trained professional in our locker room. With all due respect to them, step up to the plate.
Well, if you took the words, I was going to ask what kind of message you have, but it seems like you already sent your message to the roster. What do you have to say to Ace Montana and the fans out there? What was the statement? Anything you want to tell them before this weekend?
Well, I mean, as far as the fans, I mean, I don't care if they like me. They can chant Doug Disgusting all they want. But the bottom line is this, is like Todd said, at the end of the day, they might not like me, but everybody respects me. They respect where I've been, what I've done. There's a lot of things I've been through over the last 20 years in my personal life that I was able to battle through. And once again, I'm here. And I was in a tournament that no one gave me any chance at all to win. Stacked up against the youngest, hottest talent in the entire Mid-Atlantic region. And I ended up, going through everybody in the tournament. So, they don't like that I'm the champion. I don't care. I don't care if the fans call me disgusting or whatnot. But, as far as Ace Montana, he knows where I stand. With all due respect to Ace, he's a great competitor. He's just not good enough. He can't beat me. I have his number. And there again, he has to beat me. I don't have to beat him. And Saturday in Fairfax, sorry, Ace, same thing that's going to happen all the other times.
I just have to, without stirring the pot here, you've just numerous times you've just now sat here and said, he doesn't know it has to beat me. You don't have to beat me, or you got to beat me. I don't have to beat you. You're seemingly saying I can do whatever I want. I can walk out of the ring and pack my bags and go home, and I'm still going to have my title.
Yeah.
Are you feeling threatened by someone? Is Ace gotten under your skin? Has Chase gotten under your skin? And you're thinking like, well, hey, beat me. I don't have to beat you. I just take off. I mean, it sounds like you're trying to lay the groundwork for something. I don't understand.
No, I'm the champion. They have to beat me.
Okay.
I don't have to beat them. They have to beat me. And guess what? It's not going to happen. Todd, honestly, with everybody I've been in the ring with in the last 30 years, you think I'm intimidated by anybody at this point? Let me tell you something. When I show up at the arenas, what do you see me doing? Getting dressed, sitting there in my chair. I'm not walking around pacing. I stretch, and then I go out and I do what I do best. I kick ass, and I do, and I have been for the last year. I've done nothing over the last year. Tell everybody, especially Fleener, what I was going to do. I told everybody from the beginning what my plan was, and I've done that. Even with the deck stacked against me in the tournament, and I will never let that go.
Yeah. I'll give credit where credit is due. You came out victorious in that tournament. I'm also not naive to the fact that there were quite a few people on both sides of the curtain commenting on the way in which you won your matches in those tournaments.
It doesn't matter. I won.
Okay.
I win.
Credit where credit is due. I
win, period.
You've got
beat
the belt.
Me. Somebody beat me.
We'll see what
It's
happens.
not going to happen.
We'll see what happens Saturday night in Fairfax. You're a great wrestler, but you know what? Let's see what happens, because don't get too cocky. Someone might knock you down, but until they do, you're the man. So we'll see. Okay.
You're right.
If you travel, if you bring MATW down to South Carolina, be sure you let me know. I've got a couple of veterans I'd love for you to meet.
Please.
I didn't mean that in particular for you.
Rob,
to go up against you.
I mean, they're probably guys that I already know. And actually, I've had one in particular reach out to me, and you know what? He's not part of the roster. I'm not even going to mention his name.
Oh, go ahead.
No, because it's not worth it, because he's not even part of Mid-Atlantic. But it's like this. I told him, and I have a great deal of respect for him. But there again, I told him, you know what? There again, just get a hold of the promoter. Let's make it happen. If you think you can beat me and you're the Mid-Atlantic badass that you say you are, why aren't you here? Why aren't you proving it to everybody? Why weren't you in the tournament? Come up here, work your way up, and then you can get a shot at the champ, the real Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion.
Oh, a wrestler just chimed in. He said, say when. Well, you just heard what to do. You got to reach out to
anybody out there who would like to throw their name in the, in the hat, toss their hat in the ring, whatever, in MATW. You can contact Ron. You can contact Brandon. We're running shows everywhere all the time. It's not that hard. If you think you got what it takes, contact the promotion. We got guys debuting all the time. Black Wall Street's debuting on Saturday night. If someone thinks they can do it, do it. But this isn't just your run-of-the-mill rinky-dink indie promotion. This is a very fast-growing professional wrestling promotion, and everybody who comes through the doors of MATW doesn't have what it takes to stick around. We've seen a lot of guys come and go in the last year, and you're seeing guys like Doug who have been here from the beginning and are not only here, they're on top of the mountain and they're sticking around. So you want an opportunity, anybody can get an opportunity, but taking advantage of that and sticking around and becoming a part of something is a different story. Everybody can't do that. So
true.
Right.
Well,
all right, gentlemen.
Thank you. That was
Friday
intense.
night, Fairfax, Virginia, Jewish Community Center of Fairfax Posey's Jewish Community Center, Wrestling at the J. It's our third show. Tickets are on sale right now at www.matwtix.com. You can message me to get tickets. They should be available at the door. You can go to MATW online and get tickets. Ringside's $25. General admission's $20. kids 12 and under are half price, and also members of the JCC are half price as well with ID. So everyone come out and check us out. It's going to be raining Saturday. It's not a holiday. Come
bring an umbrella and come stay dry by watching wrestling in Fairfax, Virginia.
Well, he just said the show's Friday, and then you said raining Saturday.
Did I say Friday?
You said Friday.
Disregard everything you said thus far in the last hour and 35 minutes. It's Saturday. Saturday, March 23rd. Fairfax, Virginia.
Because I was like, bro, I'm booked Friday. I can't go. What are you doing?
Saturday night.
I'll be in
23rd.
Charlotte Friday.
Saturday. Find us online. There's a Wrestling at the J group specifically for our events in Fairfax. MATW is online. Of course, Doug is on Facebook and places like that. If fans want to harass him, you can harass me as well. I'm not too hard to find online.
Well, I was actually, where can they find you online?
I'm on Facebook. I used to be on Twitter or X, but I'm not on there anymore. I'm on Instagram. I'm Ref Todd on Instagram. I just watch videos, though I don't post stuff. So I go there for my funnies.
I'm putting on the links in the comments. So fans, you like to check it out, get your tickets. The links are in the comments. Clickety click.
Yep.
Thank you guys.
Right.
Sounds good. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for coming on. It's an honor to have y'all on here, and we always like working with good promotions.
Are you guys coming out on Saturday?
Try to. I might be able to, but we'll talk about that after the show.
Yeah, just let us know. So
Fairfax, 6.5, 7.5 hours for me to get there from here.
Small price to pay. You just covered your face too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, considering I got work Sunday morning, it's a little bit different. Yeah. I gotta be in Greenville at the office.
That is no excuse. I regularly work weekends, and there's many a show I skedaddle and drive to and get home at 2 a.m. just to get up and go to work the next morning. So no excuses.
Those double shots.
Oh no, you're talking about leaving a show at 10 p.m. or later to drive 7 hours to South Carolina. That's 5, and then being in the office at 8 in another county. So little different.
You gotta put your mind to it. You can do it.
Yeah, that's it.
Do it.
The llama believes in you.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
The llama follows me on social media, so if you need to get a hold of me, just follow the llama.
That's true. That is true. Well, one more time, here's the poster, ladies and gentlemen. Live Pro Wrestling MATW this Saturday at the JCC in Fairfax, Virginia. Don't miss out. It's going to be an amazing show. Thank you so much. Thank you to the real Mid-Atlantic champ, Doug Delicious.
That's right.
And Todd, thank you so much for joining us. I'm David Estacado.
Thank you, guys.
I'm the same.
Hey, thank you guys.
We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. sharp, right here. I got something special planned for all of you. Don't know what it is yet, do you? You will when I announce it. Look for that announcement tomorrow morning.